He had a great response to our Twitter question of the day, and the fans missed this guy, and happy to have him on the line right now. Darius Butler.
Come on, D-Buts.
Come on, I smell Hardee's.
What's up,
smell Hardee's.
What's up? It's been a minute. It's been a minute, man.
Oh, man, how you been, brother?
I've been good, man. Been good. And enjoying this time off, kind of watching it, staying tuned a little bit from the distance, but I've been enjoying this time off, man.
It's been and you give an interesting perspective because we read your tweet, your response on air, and you were a part of that special year in 2012 and the optimism there. For those who didn't hear us read the tweet or haven't seen the tweet, could you expound on why you feel the optimism is greater this season than it was in 2012 based on what you're seeing out there?
I mean, you had Luck, obviously, who was a stud, but coming in as a rookie or going in year two, it's completely different. And you can see his growth just mentally. And even when you miss time, a player as smart as Luck, like he can, kind of get a different perspective of the game. Still going through game planning and doing all these things, and then being smarter and taking care of his body and having, a better O-line. It's just kind of all fell in for him, and now it's looking real good.
D-Butts, where are you right now?
I'm down in Florida.
Okay. Has it been easy to keep track of this Colts team? Because at 1-5, written off, I just wonder how you've been able to do it. Is it with the ticket?
You know what? I don't think a lot of people, if you really paid attention, if you really watched those games at all, for me at least, I didn't really write them off, because you saw so many games that, you have to learn how to win. Regardless of how talented you are, you have to learn how to win, and that's kind of what I think they did. And now you're seeing them, put together some games against some good opponents, and that only builds confidence in the young team.
How surprised are you at this offensive line coming together as quickly as they have?
I'm surprised. Anthony, they beat Costanzo up a little bit over the years, but he's been pretty consistent at that position. And to fill in, the other guys, Ryan Kelly, been healthy for most of the season. He missed some time, but having Nelson come in and play, up to the billing, and I think Frank, I think he's helped, with that O line too. With his play calling and Luck being smart and having those tight ends. I think it all helped.
What do you think has been the key on the defensive side of the ball? Because there were some noteworthy releases with John Simon and Jonathan Hankins and Henry Anderson, and the thought was they're going to let these young guys, take their lumps, and so it may be a really tough year for the defense, but they figured it out. What's been the difference there?
I think the key, honestly, is Chris Ballard, making those calls and being confident enough and how he, views, building a roster and, making some of those tough calls. Like I said, the Hankins calls didn't surprise everybody, but obviously he saw something going with the new system and the players he drafted and players that he's trying to free agency. He believed in them to fit in the scheme better. And, ultimately it's paying off. Darius Leonard, surprised. I think everybody. I don't care how high you want to pick. I don't think anybody expected what we got out of him. And then, all the other pieces. I think, Jabbar been in the system. Obviously, Hunt been in the system. It's been much better for him. Al is still solid. And getting the young guys in the back. And Kenny Moore came in and, outplayed anything anybody else thought. And, Quincy is coming in and matured. You got a lot of guys doing some good things on the side of the ball.
When you play cover, talk about that a little bit. When you play that cover two and everything, how important is having linebackers like Darius and Anthony Walker that can play, all three downs and can cover side to side and just be there all the time? It's important to have a tone setter. And when your tone setter's nickname is Maniac, you probably at a good spot. So, and I think Matt, I don't want to mess up his last name, but
Eberflus.
Yeah, okay. So he holds the guys accountable, and you can see that on Sundays. It's evident that he holds them accountable, and they hold each other accountable because if you're playing in that system. It's going to be completion. It's going to be plays. But when guys run to the ball, when guys attack the ball, and you just build that culture, you're going to create turnovers. You're going to create, great open field situations. So as long as you build on that, I mean, you see kind of the same thing in a little bit here with Dallas, with those two linebackers. But if you just set that tone of running to the ball, and everybody else is following, good things are happening.
But the secondary is also playing really good football, and I'm curious from your perspective what you're seeing from the secondary, because there's guys there that Pierre Desir has been playing really well, and he's been a big reason why DeAndre Hopkins was held to I think 36 yards 2 weeks ago, and Amari Cooper was held to 32 or somewhere in that ballpark. Quincy Wilson, we've seen his confidence increase a little bit. Your thoughts on this secondary, because I don't think anybody anticipated that, especially given what DeAndre Hopkins did to the Colts the first time they met.
Yeah, like I said, for the most part, those guys are young too. Kenny Pierre, he's been around the longest, but he probably got his most playing time in the league last year, and we saw a lot of flashes. I can remember, off the top of my head, the Pittsburgh game. The first drive of the game, he got a big pick, and that was something you didn't expect out of a guy who, being thrust into that situation. He played some great, had some good plays against DeAndre. So you saw the potential. So for him to come back this year after injury and play even above that, it surprised some people. But I think if you paid close enough attention to the coach, you kind of saw that being a potential. Quincy played well last year. I thought he had some maturing to do, and I think that's what he did. And he said, having a veteran like Mike Mitchell come in and kind of just show him, some of those things go a long way. It can be one guy, in a group or a couple guys spread out throughout the defense that can change kind of, a whole identity.
One of the other reasons you said you were more optimistic now was because of the fall off, or Brady being, 20 years in the league or whatever. When you see the Dolphins come back, that, you might blame that on coaching. You can see the Brady pick late where it was just a silly pick that you never see him throw in the last game. You see Gronk starting to slow down a little bit, not be as dominant. Are they done?
I would be a fool to sit here and tell you that. December, whatever it is, I can never write those guys off. I can never say, a guy like Tom or, Belichick is done. But to say that they're definitely not the same. They have more chinks in their armor, and they can be got, more so now than before. And that's not to say that they're done and they're still not elite, but it's just my honest opinion. And, a team like I said, the team that you see being built around, it's still a quarterback-driven league. And Andrew Luck has been playing at an MVP level, in my opinion, this year. He had the tough game where you got a shutout against the Jags. But outside of that, he's been playing great ball. So, the arrow's up, man. So I think, this team is kind of built to compete with anybody. And, being like I said, the New England have dominated the AFC side of the things for so long now. So you have to factor in, Brady going to year 20. Somebody's going to have to step up. It's going to be Luck. It's going to be Deshaun in the Texans. It's going to be Mahomes and the Chiefs. Somebody's going to have to step up.
Home field may play a big part of that. What team is the most dominant at home? Is it still New England?
If I had to bet my money, I would bet on a New England at home, just because they've done it for so long. And until you go up there and beat them, that's just what it is. And, Indy had to do that before in their history. So, it's happened before.
Nah, it should be interesting. Well, let me ask you this, because watching, the games outside of the Colts, what team do you enjoy watching the most?
I actually haven't been watching as much as I thought I would. But, it's still hard for me not to, pay attention to the AFC South. And, Houston's been playing some great ball all year. Deshaun Watson, he's back, basically from his injury, playing at the level he left off at last year. Yeah. Enjoy those guys. Obviously, what Mahomes is doing in Kansas City. They're always exciting to watch. The Bears, their defense is. I still like to find defense as much as I can. So Chicago.
Hey, our boy Shannon says thanks for mentioning the Bears.
Hardy's,
the Bears now. They're. It was some guys I want to admit I was wrong about real quick. I was dead ass wrong about Baker. Baker Mayfield, I didn't see that coming at all. For him to be the ball that he is already. And Mitch Trubisky, I didn't like that pick either. I didn't like that move to get him, and I was dead wrong about that. But having him and what Nagy's doing with that defense, they'll be exciting to watch in the playoffs too.
Yeah, I was I got to apologize on the Bears too, because I thought with Khalil Mack they were still going to be like third, fourth team in the NFC North, with a really good defensive play.
That move, that was man, that was a move right there.
That was a big time move.
Player like that. Yeah.
But it was my skepticism about Trubisky also, and thinking that the Vikings were still going to be special, and they got a better quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to have a drop off. Yeah, you got to look at the big picture, man. A pass rusher like that, a player like that makes everybody else's job easier. The secondary, the defensive coordinator, the offense, they're getting more possessions and late in the games, getting better field position. So that getting a player like that, it was no way that I thought Oakland would allow him to leave. So you see the dividends that is playing. No question about it, my man. Hey, we really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on the fly, and we got to do this again soon, brother. Yeah, man, I feel like you owe me some Hardee's, though, man. Yeah, absolutely.
We will pay off, buddy.
We got to. Absolutely. Hey, happy holidays, fam. Thanks so much.
Hey, same to you.
You got it. That's Darius Butler, former Colt defensive back there on the Payless Liquors hotline. Quick timeout. Zach Osterman is going to join us on the show, and we have the pop quiz. Plus, the Pacers. They have a new patch on their jersey. Yes, a new patch on their jersey that's going to make its debut. We're back after this.